Welcome to the NDTV YouTube channel. I'm going to tell you a couple of stories that we are following very closely today. The first one that we are looking at is opposition protests after a panel of approximately 25 odd European Union MPs are set to visit Jammu and Kashmir. The opposition, primarily the Congress party, says, how is it that these leaders are being allowed into Jammu and Kashmir when Indian leaders, Indian opposition leaders, have not been allowed? Remember, several opposition leaders have managed to get to Jammu, to Kashmir, to Srinagar airport, and then have been told, go right back. Why then and how then are leaders from the European Union actually being allowed to go? Now, one of the people, the Congress leaders who tweeted on this was Jairam Ramesh, who said, when Indian political leaders have been prevented from meeting the people of Jammu and Kashmir, what possessed the great chest-beating champion of nationalism to allow European politicians to visit Jammu and Kashmir? This is an outright insult to India's own parliament and our democracy. The composition of the team of European Union MPs going to Jammu and Kashmir is also interesting. 80% of them are from right-wing parties which have been opposed to Muslim immigration to Europe, though it does need to be said that not all of them are from right-wing parties. The large majority are, but there is some diversity in terms of a handful of others who are in that panel. That's one big story that we are tracking. They've met the Prime Minister, as I mentioned. These MPs, they have met the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. This comes on a day in which in Sopore there's been a grenade attack. Several people, all civilians, have been injured in this. And the big call which has been made to these MPs is actually from Iltija Mufti, the daughter of Mehbooba Mufti, the former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, who has been detained behind bars now for several months. Is that, look, you must be given an opportunity to interact with people in Jammu and Kashmir, common citizens, to get a proper idea of what the situation on the ground really is. The other story we are tracking very closely is air pollution in the National Capital Region a day after Diwali. Now, the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said that the situation in Delhi this year around is better than what it's been in the last couple of years. But the fact of the matter is that air pollution is back at being at severe levels, and that's not good for anyone. So while there have been green firecrackers, the fact of the matter is it's just not been good enough. In his press conference earlier today, Arvind Kejriwal said that areas around Delhi contributed to air pollution because they weren't obliged to actually go in for green crackers, or certainly not in the manner in which they were expected to do. What is clear is that the ban on all sorts of crackers, or the efforts to try and dissuade people from using firecrackers hasn't worked at all, and therefore you are at levels which are unacceptable. Is it better than the last few years? Yes, it is. But is it still essentially toxic and ideally unbreathable? Absolutely. It is toxic and it should be unbreathable. So what happens next? Well, there's a graded action plan which the Delhi government, as far as Delhi is concerned, that kicks into place in a few days from now. There's going to be the odd-even scheme as far as motor vehicles are concerned. So only certain vehicles with a certain number on their registration plates will be allowed on a day. They'll be allowed not the next day but the day after that. Therefore, the odd-even scheme. But frankly, the issue on whether we are winning the battle against air pollution in the National Capital Region, if that is to be asked, then the answer, quite frankly, is no. Are we losing it? Well, unfortunately, that situation seems to be the case.